Welcome to another style study video. I am Matt, and in this session we are taking a look at style 3A Pale Czech Lager. And before we start that, I of course need to give my usual disclaimer and say that I do not represent the BJCP in any way, shape, or form. The BJCP does not endorse this video nor this series of videos. This is merely my documentation process of my journey working towards my BJCP beer certification and learning these styles best I can to do the best job I can at judging. And I do mean that. This is something I really want to do, and I want to do it well. So let's take a look at 3A Czech Pale Lager. And I might have said Pale Czech Lager at the opening because I was going off the top of my head. If I didn't, I'm going to cut out everything I just said. So overall impression. A lighter-bodied, rich, refreshing, hoppy, bitter, pale Czech lager having the familiar flavors of the stronger Czech premium lager, Pilsner-type beer, but in lower alcohol, lighter-bodied, and slightly less intense format. Okay, let's take a look at the vitals before we look at the characteristics we're going to be rating this beer on. And we are starting off with an SRM range of 3 to 6. The IBUs go from 20 to 35. The original gravity for this beer is in the range of 1.028 to 1.044. The final gravity can finish between 1.008 to 1.014, and that gives us an ABV of 3.0 to 4.1%. Okay, on to the characteristics we are going to be focusing on most on our score sheet. Aroma. Light to moderate bready rich malt combined with a light to moderate spicy or herbal hop bouquet. The balance between the malt and hops may vary. Faint hint of caramel is acceptable. Light, but never intrusive diacetyl and light fruity hop derived esters are acceptable, but need to be present. No sulfur. Starting to think we've got a new writer in these guidelines because that is written very differently than the ones we've read before. On to appearance. Light gold to deep gold color, brilliant to very clear, with a long-lasting creamy white head. Flavor, we're looking at or tasting for. Medium low to medium bready rich malt flavor with a rounded hoppy finish. Low to medium high spicy or herbal hop flavor. Bitterness is prominent but never harsh. Flavorful and refreshing. Diacetyl or fruity esters are acceptable at low levels, but need not be present and should never be overbearing. And finally, mouthfeel. That's a short one. Medium to light to medium body, moderate carbonation. And that is the main criteria we're going to judge on. Of course, there's more to this entry. We have comments in history and characteristic ingredients. And then we come to the commercial examples. And I am not even going to... I'm going to try one. I cannot pronounce these. I'm going to put them up over my face right now as they appear in this style sheet because I can't even, it's not even that I'm afraid of offending anyone. I don't know how to pronounce these except for notch session pills. That's the only one I can pronounce. So here's the others. You've seen them and now they're going to go away. Which leads to a very interesting conundrum, not only for this style, but most of the styles in this, save for one. There's 4 altogether in style 3. And most of them have not been available anywhere I've shopped. So I've done a couple of different things to kind of prepare myself to judge this. For this one, I've done something different, I think, for each one. We'll get to the others when we get to that. But for this one, I obviously could not, like I said, find any of the commercial examples. So I was on the website of a very, very large bottle shop in my neck of the woods. So I typed in Czech Pale Lager to see what matched as far as their descriptions and whatnot. And one beer popped up that they did have in stock. Now it's not classified as a Czech Pale Lager by their own definition, but it's Baltica 3, and I know I said Baltica in Baltica 4 for the last episode. Apologies to anyone that was screaming at whatever device they were watching that on. I didn't realize what word I was reading, but I believe it's Baltica is how you want to say this. Now, like I said, it's not typically a Czech Pale Lager, but since somebody, I want to make it clear, not Baltica, not the brewers, not the company, they did not say this was a Czech Pale Lager. Somebody somewhere used the words Czech Pale and Lager to, in some fashion, to have this turn up on a search on their website. So I'm going with the idea that there's going to be a time where I judge a beer that someone thinks they've hit the style on like that, but could be way off or it could be close. I don't know what this is going to be. So this might be so far off the charts that it was a terrible example to learn this style with, but it's going to give me the practical experience for identifying why a beer is or isn't in style. So I have no idea what's going to happen this episode. And the only way to actually find out what is going to happen is to crack this open and start taking a look. So, got my highlight sheet. Everything except the names of the commercial examples were on the screen as you watched. Let's crack this open and see what we have initially, and then I'll just do my deep dive score sheet and we'll come back and talk about it. So let's crack this open here. There we go, nice hiss. And I'll give it a okay pour. Not going to do a competition pour yet because I want that head to recede a little bit so I get the full aroma. So let's start with aroma. That's the first characteristic. So moderate to bready, rich, and light to moderate spice, herbal, hop. Neither of which I'm not getting much of, honestly, anything. Oh, okay. Getting a little fruitiness. I'm getting more of an ester fruit than anything, which I don't remember being in the description at all. I'll have to concentrate on that a little more when I do the score sheet. Appearance, light gold to deep gold. I'd say we have probably actually, well, no, I'd say that's light gold. That's not in the straw or yellow range. I don't know what's with my cups and why the carbonation is coming up, or I should say, clinging to the cup so much, but it is what it is. Brilliant to very clear, absolutely, I'd say, yeah. I mean, you can probably, if you can see through all the bubbles, you can probably see that there's lettering. I don't know if you can read it with the funhouse effect of a cup. I could not find a descriptor. I can't even find any words I'm looking for, apparently. Long-lasting creamy white head. It's actually lasting longer than I expected. It's receded down, but it's covering the entire top of the glass. Flavor, all right, I'm going to read the flavors first and then take a sip. So medium to low to medium bready rich, hoppy finish, low, medium to high spice or herbal hop flavor. I'm getting more of a bready richness to it, but what they're saying, I'm getting more of a bready maltiness than I expected. I'm getting a very estery, almost clove-like finish, almost like I dumped a lager and a Belgian in a glass. Mouthfeel, medium, light to medium body, I guess. Yeah, I'll explore that more. Moderate carbonation, absolutely. All right, this is going to be interesting. So it's not a classic example. It's probably not even in the right realm. I'm going to do my best to identify what I find in this and try to score it appropriately, with this being my first even look. I'm not even going to say, obviously I'm not drinking a Czech Pale Lager. It's the first time I'm exploring the style. So it's going to be an interesting write-up. I think I'm going to set my timer for the full 15 minutes here. I'm not even going to worry about proofreading or whatnot, because I think I'm going to need probably more time to even figure out this score sheet. But can't do that until I pause everything and get to it. So I'm just going to do it right now. Okay, I am back, and I'm brushing off all the eraser dust because I had to kind of backtrack a couple times there. But I'm not terribly unhappy with what I wrote. So I'll show you the visual. You can see it's full, and I even got some stuff on this side, which I don't believe I've done before, which is a benefit to trying a beer that is not necessarily the style. But let's get to the sheet and the details here. So the usual stuff at the top. Category 3, subcategory A, entry number Baltica 3. I almost said Baltica again. Baltica 3. Subcategory Czech Pale Lager, bottle inspection, check. Comments, proper fill, branded cap, good hiss on open. All right, here we go. Aroma, a very noticeable clove ester, immediately recognized. A rich, clean malt character, sweet alcohol and malt on glass swirl. I probably should have put found or noticed or picked up, but I missed a word there. Very light floral hop aroma, cross between faint roses and weak lilacs. And I gave that a 6 out of 12. Appearance, light golden color, thick, rocky head with small, medium, and large bubbles that flatten quickly to a thin, persistent layer of small bubbles littered with medium bubbles. Brilliantly clear, and that's a 3 out of 3. That one was easy. Flavor, all right, here we go. Sweet malt with a touch of white bread crust on the palate initially. A faint, sweet, hard candy sugar taste over the tongue. Subtle hop bitterness on finish. Clean fermentation with a mild, fruity, apple-like ester and clove character. A touch of floral, rose-like hops at the back of the palate and picked up on the finish. I gave that a 14 out of 20. And moving on. Mouthfeel, light to medium light-bodied, a very thin creaminess like the texture of fat-free milk. I don't know. I didn't know how else to say it. There was a creaminess there, but it was like barely there, and the only thing I could compare it to was fat-free milk. I don't know if doing that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm going to have to talk to some of my actual certified judge friends, but I went ahead and wrote that. Strong, persistent, heavy carbonation, a favorable carbonic sting accompanying the flavors of the beer, and I gave that a 2 out of 5. Again, this is judged all on the style stuff info we just went through in the first half of this video. Overall impression, this is an extremely interesting beer. The malt side of the balance was a little off. Perhaps could benefit from a larger addition of bready, biscuity, crackery character malts. There was an estery presence that didn't suit the style. Perhaps a different strain of yeast or a longer fermentation at cooler temperatures could help. All in all, a very fun beer to drink. I did start off with a positive, then did 2 negatives, so I needed to throw a positive in there. It's all about balance. I will do that for testing, and I will do that for feedback to any judging I do. It's just, I don't think that's a habit I'm going to break and really don't want to break. Overall, 32 out of 50, which I do believe by far is the lowest score I gave, which makes sense because this is not a Czech Pale Lager. And that's the point of this particular exercise. But it also gave me an opportunity to mention some of the things on this descriptor definition. So I did check off estery, which says aroma and or flavors of any esters, fruits, fruit flavorings, or roses. And I did mention all that, as you just heard in there. All those points were pointed out. Phenolic, spicy, clove peppery, smoky, plastic adhesive strip, and or medicinal, chlorophenolic. I did mention clove more than once. I listed it as very good for the this box here, everything right down the middle. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And again, an interesting exercise. I'm sure I could look up what this style is meant to be. Maybe it's better I didn't know that going into this so that I didn't actually look for what it should be exemplifying if I know the style well at all. Interesting exercise. Not the last time that's going to happen. It's also not the last time it's going to happen in this style category overall. And it's going to happen quite a few times. Maybe half of the videos are going to be beers that aren't necessarily listed as a classic example, but somewhere somebody somehow described them as what it was, and for all intents and purposes, they entered it as that style. That's how we're treating these ones that don't match the commercial examples. I think I explained that 3 times in this video. I think you get it. So with that, let me wrap this up and say we'll be back with the next video, which is, there's 4 of these. So give me just a second to pull up a cheat sheet to see what the next style specifically is. And that is Czech Premium Pale Lager. Last thing, of course, I have to say is thank you for watching, and I will be back with another study style session video very soon.